r/AskReddit. People who were in a coma, what change surprised you when you woke up? I was in a coma for 9 days. When I woke up I was still on a ventilator. When they took me off the ventilator, my body didn't remember to breathe on its own. I literally had to relearn how to breathe. Took me a few days. I had no natural sense for how long or deeply to inhale. How long to hold it. How long to exhale. I had to put all my mental focus towards breathing. It was really weird. I was in a coma for 4 days. When I woke up everyone was talking about the baby boy I had. I had lost my long-term memory and didn't even remember being pregnant. My son was at the children's hospital in the NICU. I delivered him via C-section at 29 weeks. All this was due to me having Crohn's disease. I found out after I woke up, my colon had ruptured during my pregnancy. My husband said I was talking like a child when I first woke up. When I woke I felt super tired. But then the next few days, kinda restless. I remembered one conversation my mom had with a nurse while I was under. After a couple of days I got my long-term memory back and remembered everything up until my second surgery, then nothing until I woke up. My son was my third surgery. Edit. So my son was what surprised me. No idea, haven't woken up yet. If you're reading this, you've been in a coma for almost 20 years now. We're trying a new technique. We don't know where this message will end up in your dream, but we hope we're getting through. Bad motorcycle accident. I'll spare the details as it's a long story. Anyway, I was put under for my surgery and all that. Overall, didn't notice a thing. 1 second you're there, then you're waking up. It was only an hour or so, but when I woke it felt like days passed. Honestly, was just thankful I was alive. I didn't care if I'd ever walk again. I walk and run no problem now. Although I only have one knee now really, but the euphoria after waking up totally changed my life. Little late to the party, but after a suicide attempt which led to an overdose I spent about 2 days in a coma and almost died. While obviously nothing changed in 2 days society-wise, my personality changed heavily and I don't consider myself the same person as before the coma. I feel like that side of me died and different parts of my brain took over, creating a new personality and control. DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, sent me into a coma. I have vague memories of being sick beforehand, but my overall sense of time was just mush. Even years later I can't establish a correct timeline. I have flashes of memories of different doctors coming in and out of the room. Once I was out of the coma I was still pretty out of it. When you're on an insulin drip, they check your sugar every hour. I could never actually sleep, but I felt asleep the whole time. It's a hard feeling to describe, just mushy, runny time. My wife was in a medically induced coma for 4 days. She had a reaction to contrast dye and her heart stopped for 20 minutes. For nearly 3 months, she was confabulating about her long dead parents. She would speak about them like they were in the next room. Or she would say her daughter or brother called, but they hadn't. Over and over she thought her mom was alive. Then her dad. Drove me crazy having to gently correct her many times per day. She would come up with amazing tales about what people, relatives, friends, neighbors, were doing. What they said. Truly creative fiction. 3 months later, she began to come back. The confabulation stopped. Now things are reversed. She can't remember recent events, but her long-term memories are gone. I don't know what that's like, but it must be awful. She cries sometimes for her lost memories, but overall she is doing very well. I really hope this gets to hot. It would be pretty cool to hear those people's stories. XD. Was in one for about a half day. Was extremely surprised by how tired I was. I was a police officer and there was an explosion. I woke up and my arms and legs and most of my torso were gone. My wife was in a coma. 2 weeks medically induced. When she woke she had very wrong memories. They were all based on conversations people had while in the room with her. For example, she thought they flew her to Washington DC for treatment while she was in a coma. My father-in-law mentioned how he just flew back into town from DC on a work trip. Somehow, She overheard this while out and her brain interpreted it to mean she flew to DC. Even after we explained to her the reality of where she was. It took days for her to come to terms with reality. Edit. She was in a coma about 10 years ago. She is not currently in a coma. Nobody who has ever been in a coma. She won an Oscar and he's a congressman. When you were in that coma, did you feel your brain getting damaged? Dr. Nick Rivera. 3 days coma. Surprised by scars. The fact that I lied in a room with nothing but a fucking mattress. Nobody there. I was really dizzy and sedated, so I slept for an unknown time after that first memory of waking up. Then when I woke up again I knocked the door. Asked where the fuck I am. What is going on, etc. Weirdly, I thought at that moment, I did not panic or anything similar. So I knocked the gigantic heavy iron plus wood door and asked what was going on. Turns out I took a gigantic amount of anxiolytics, muscle relaxants plus drank alcohol and grapefruit juice in a depressed state. Tried to kill myself via suffocation. Was found whilst on the edge of brain damage beginning, where your skin begins to turn purple. Luckily I didn't lose anything according to docs and it surely does not feel like it. The benzos I took in that combo have the potential to blast you into coma for several days. My name is Rick Grimes. I was in a coma for a couple of months. When I woke up everyone was a zombie and my wife was cheating on me with my best friend. Sir. If you were not in a coma for a significant amount of time and were not surprised by change, do not answer the question. I no longer had a penis. Really hoping this blows up. Actually, people who comes out of coma only stayed for few weeks or days. And people who stayed long time in coma and came out. Chances are only 1 in 1000 and I don't think so you'll find any actual case here on Reddit. But good try though. That I was pregnant. The best of these stories is the football player who got knocked out and lived a full separate life while he was in a coma. Had a family and everything. Then he noticed something weird about a lamp and it all unraveled. Then he woke up and could not comprehend he'd been out of it for just a week. Fab story. Someone will have the link. https://www.reddit.com/r/glitch_in_by_awoken_by_lamp /UTM_source equal share &UTM_medium app &UTM _nam_mf. Does this work? Joe wasn't there. It was my cousin's dad. He woke up and didn't recognize anyone, but he remembered all our names but was a little confused and he didn't come back to reality until about a week after. He thought he was a teen again too. I was worried. Not a coma, but I was put under for surgery after a rather bad fall that broke my leg in 2 places. I hadn't eaten anything in days because of the hospital's wishes, and when I woke up to a Subway meatball marinara sub as the first thing I would have eaten in days, I swear I cried tears of joy. Oh hey, I finally got to one of these fairly quickly. I was in a short coma, 3 months, but the time really messed me up since it crossed the new year. It felt so much longer. I was also really groggy and had surgery on a leg and totally thought it was amputated, so my first response was to freak out and start ripping everything out. Do not do this. My stepdad was in a coma IQ for about 3 weeks. Woke up and he couldn't find his teeth. We looked for a week. Completely forgot where we put them. Then he dropped dead at the bathroom sink in the hospital. Out of nowhere. They revived him. Couldn't figure out why he could barely breathe. Then the hospital sat us down and showed us the x-rays with his dentures in his body. They forgot to take them out when they put the tubes in his mouth, blocking his air pipes or whatever. So yeah, we found them though. I swear this sub has the most retarded mods. Finally, an answer that I can provide without making it a meme. Ahem. I've been in a coma for 2 weeks as far as I know, and a few things fucked up in 2 weeks. One is that I was and still am always trembling like no shit whenever I'm deep in my imagination when listening to a song. I can't stop cutting my tongue using my teeth, which caused my jaw a lot of issues. My memory fucked up and I couldn't remember anything from what happened before those 2 weeks, and I'm still struggling to remember focus over basic things. I'm not sure if those new changes in my body happened cause I was in a coma as a child, around 5, or because of something else that is yet to be discovered. But it definitely surprised me and still surprises me to this day when I was told this story during one of my conversations with my mother. I was full one day, and it felt like I closed my eyes for 1 second and woke up a second later. The very first thing I did was ask for my cell phone. I saw Jesus. ZZZZZZZZ. There is that one guy who commented on a thread like this before. He grew up, had a family and kids and memories for a lifetime only to wake up. He was super depressed after that I was alive. Good question. This place is swarming with people who have had such a specific experience. The fact that we have an Oompa Loompa as our president. This strange musician called Lady Gaga was suddenly everywhere and something called the global recession started. My doctor was Jewish. Whatever happened to that guy who was in jail for a couple of years and wondered when how the Golden State Warriors got so good? It was night. Edit. My cousin was in a coma cause of a motorcycling accident. When he woke up, it's like he was transported back in his younger days. Acts and talks like a kid. He's better now after about 7 years, though there's still something off with the way he speaks. He stutters and talks fast like how children do when they're excited. He has gotten talkative too. So what has surprised him when he woke up is the fact that he has a daughter of his own. I wasn't really in a coma, but I remember when I woke up from having my appendix removed. I couldn't read. I was 13 at the time and I love to read books. So I wasn't illiterate or anything. I could see fine too. I just wasn't able to read. It only lasted for a few minutes. But it was very weird. You should have put a serious tag on this. This thread is going to get ridiculous. Comic. How long were you in a coma? Arthur? I really don't know. Double quote. Comic. Let's play a game. Art. Elvis. Living or dead? Arthur living. Dot. Comic. Long coma. Art. Long coma. Edit. Here's a source. Defending your life. Was in a coma for 2 days. Not medically induced. Woke up utterly confused at the time and day. Didn't know if it was morning, evening, what day of the week. Couldn't believe where and what time it was. Was very agitated. Had vague memories of what happened before it all went black, but there were very confusing and erratic ones. Turned on my computer to check the daytime. Realized I'd missed an exam and that a whole 2 days had passed without my knowledge and freaked out about that. Frantically charged my phone to check for messages. My absence mostly went unnoticed and I felt extremely lucky. Then relieved. Then sad and started bawling uncontrollably. Thanks for watching, mate. Make sure to smash that star button for more high quality content.